All right, so tell me what we're doing here today. What is today and who's gathered here?
Well, this is really a rally in support of, the legal system, the courts, the judges, the lawyers.
I am a lawyer, officer of the court for 20 years.
I've been a lawyer for about 5 years.
I'm Jeff. I'm an immigration lawyer.
My name is Maria, and I'm a solo practitioner.
And I think the point we're trying to make is that the judiciary is an equal branch of government that needs to stand up for the rights of everyone.
We're absolutely terrified for our clients and even for ourselves. I mean, they're talking about deporting U.S. citizens. So, yeah, this has to stop.
We're here to celebrate our legal backgrounds, and we're here to say that we are the line of defense for what's happening in the community, and we just kind of renewed our vows and our oaths to uphold the Constitution, the United States Constitution, the California Constitution.
My position is I don't know exactly what to do about it, but I would like to figure out what everyone else in my field are saying what to do about it, and that's why I appeared today.
Have you ever seen this level of assault on due process, the constitutional protections of people to due process, anything like this?
This is really unlike anything, right? I mean, Marco Rubio recently said that they're looking for other countries to send people to, and they're doing this so that to get them away from the protections that the U.S. Constitution is supposed to offer. They want to just lock people up with no due process. They don't even want to give people 24 hours. They want to lock them in gulags, and I've never seen anything like it.
I never thought due process would be such a, in the news so much, but wow, when you don't have it, it can be really devastating.
What's the example of due process under assault, and what's the significance of it to everybody?
Yeah, well, interestingly, I think even attorneys don't think about it very much until it's under attack. And all due process means is notice of what you're accused of and an opportunity to be heard and tell your side of the story before you're deprived of either your liberty, you're put in prison or jail, or your property, like money, or your life. So that's why it's so important, because otherwise, and we are also a country of where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. So you're not supposed to be able to have tyrants and powerful people, whether they're bazillionaires or if they're president. They're not supposed to have the power to just come and take people who have not been tried by a court, who have not been tried by a jury of their peers. All of those elements that are so we kind of have been taking for granted.
Obviously, there are people in our country currently not getting due process, and they are legally entitled to due process, and the Constitution requires that everyone gets due process, so it's very concerning to me.
And what is the most alarming violation of due process that you've seen recently?
Well, there's so many, but I'll just give one that was stunning, and I think it woke up a lot of people, was seeing the tweet of a judge being walked out of the court by FBI officers in handcuffs. And that was because the judge was in charge of her courtroom and directed somebody out another door because these officers were causing disruption in her courtroom, directed them to a public walkway, not some kind of underground corridor, another public walkway out the hallway. And then they claimed that was obstruction of justice. And then for them to act like this is a head on a platter, that they're showing what they're going to do and try to intimidate and threaten judges, lawyers from just giving people their basic rights, that was stunning. And I hope that is the wake-up call to everyone to just say, no, this is too much.
What difference does it make when a president discards due process overall?
I mean, imagine you're just walking down the street and someone accuses you of being in a violent terrorist gang, and then they throw you in a van and put you in a prison, and you have kids or you don't have kids, and you have a job and you have a family and everything, and all of a sudden now you're locked up for absolutely no reason. That's what we're looking at. I mean, Kilmaro Abrego Garcia had a legal right to be in the United States, and he was disappeared. And now they're photoshopping MS-13 onto his hand to make it seem like he actually was in the gang, and there's no evidence. They've never provided any substantial evidence that he was in a gang. So But and yes, he was not a U.S. citizen, but they're talking about deporting U.S. citizens to El Salvador and putting them in gulags. So what's to stop the Trump administration from doing that to any of us?
When Trump said he's sitting next to the president of El Salvador, Bukele, about a week and a half ago and said, well, we're not going to bring Kilmarbergo back. And soon you're going to have to open 5 more prisons down there. We're going to start sending homegrown U.S. citizens to El Salvador.
It is horrifying to witness that, horrifying to hear about. And it is yet another danger to basically all of our rights as citizens. I think that this is extremely important to pay attention to and to be aware of. And if possible, to raise our voices in whatever little way we can.
Yeah, we definitely have to raise our voices against his rhetoric. It's very dangerous rhetoric, and we cannot sit still and say, oh, he's just playing, or he doesn't mean that. He means everything that he's saying, and we need to pay attention to it. Absolutely.
And as far as you know, if Trump ignored a direct order from the Supreme Court, what recourse does the court have?
I mean, there really isn't one necessarily. I mean, the foundation of the United States was norms, and the norm that was established was that the other branches are supposed to respect the orders that the Supreme Court issues. And when you have a president who doesn't respect norms, that's a really scary thing.
Have you ever seen so many lawyers, clerks, judges, and others in the legal profession out in the streets?
I haven't seen anything like this. You know, I've seen some things, but nothing like this. And this is really incredible. It's great to see the energy. This is what it's going to take. You know, civil disobedience, I think, is going to be important.
We're the last line of defense as well, and if we don't stand up, I don't know where we're going to be. I mean, it's like, God help us. You know, if we don't stand up. This is really serious. We're in some serious times I've never seen before, and I'm glad that I do have a legal background and a degree, so I can stand up and be a voice for those who are voiceless and fight the people that have power.
I haven't been to a protest before. I'll show you the sign. So as long as we're all operating under the Constitution, then there should not be a problem, right? But it doesn't feel like that is happening at the moment.
I will have to say no. I haven't been to a protest before, so my answer would have to be no.
I am a huge fan of marches and protests, because when you see thousands and thousands of people coming out of coming out of wherever their comfort zone, to demand change and to say we're not going to tolerate it, I think that local officials and national officials, federal officials, they all have to take notice of that, because otherwise people stay home and it's really easy just to kind of shut your eyes and hide under the covers. And when that happens, that's when you're most in danger.
We need all boots on the ground, all hands on deck. I know life is lifing, like they say now, but that's happening for all of us. We have to sacrifice and get out there and just let our voices be heard, and there's power in unity, there's power in numbers. So we need to come out of our day-to-day. I know it's rough because we're all trying to make a living and keep a roof over our heads and food on the table, but this is important. If we don't rise up, like I said before, God help us.
So we're out here on May Day, and I want you to read your sign and explain what it means to you.
All right, my sign says, resist tyranny, we do not kneel. I do not consent. I'm horrified by what's happening to my country. I'm horrified by everything that's happening. It's illiberal. It's an assault against our Constitution, an assault on our rule of law, an assault on immigrants, an assault on my neighbors, an assault on my allies. It's not okay. And I believe it's my duty to resist tyranny.
My name's Stephanie, and I came out today as a union supporter and a union worker and a single mom. I just feel like we have to fight for the working class, and we have to fight for our children, and we have to fight for our future. And the way things are going makes me so sad and so angry and so motivated to leave my house and drive over here and take some pictures with you guys.
Hi, my name is Evita, and I'm here to support the cause. I'm here to support my brown people. We're here to stay, that they can't come over here and just be racist and make us feel like we don't belong when we literally grew up here. This is our home. And I'm also fighting for my parents. They immigrated here from Mexico, and so I'm here trying to make sure that we don't repeat history.
And would you mind reading your sign?
Yeah, you want to read it?
Yeah, you read this sign.
Yeah, she made it.
Knowledge is power. Ignorance is the only way they win. Stop the coup.
And why do you call it a coup?
Because they're trying to take over in inappropriate and illegal ways, and they just need to be stopped.
Well, I like the sign because it said the system is this whole system is rotten and illegal made. We need and we demand a whole new way to live in a fundamentally different system. So we want a different kind of politic, not a racism, not a people who want to, take the immigrants to take this country because we are the workers.
The Trump fascist regime must go now. What it means to me is that this, democracy, whatever that really means for us, which I think is, that can be debated, whether we have a democracy or not anymore. But, just how, it's heading into a complete dictatorship with no, the oppression of the press, the oppression of workers, the oppression of women, the oppression of trans, the oppression, it sort of goes on and on and on and on. So, this type of political movement shouldn't work here. Unfortunately, it is, and it seems to be going in a direction that we shouldn't be letting it go in, and more people need to be out here in the middle of the day and fighting. So that's why I'm here.
So, Oscar, you were one of the MCs here at this May Day rally today. Tell us what it was about and why you came out, why others came out today.
Yeah, I mean, we're facing unprecedented times of rising fascism, forces that are trying to divide the community, and we need to meet the moment with solidarity, unity, and collective power. And I think that was the purpose of today's march. Obviously, May Day is a historical international holiday for the worker, and Chile has been since the beginning one of the main organizers of the May Day March here in Los Angeles, and we want to continue that history, but also again have a space for people to come together and really build the solidarity that's going to be needed to push back the fascism, the totalitarianism, the draconian immigration reform that we're seeing today.
We're here to protest Trump, and I know that one of the things that he's trying to go after is people's knowledge. He wants people to be complicit, and in doing so, he needs people that are ignorant. The dumber he keeps people, the easier it is to control them. So that's why he's going after the universities. He's going after people's rights. There was a point when they were recruiting braceros, where they would line up literally hundreds of braceros in a big farm, and the owners would walk by them, and the owners would pick the workers that were looking down or submissive, and that's exactly what they want now. They want people to be submissive so they could exploit them.
Tell who the braceros were.
The braceros were primarily workers from Mexico, primarily central Mexico, that were recruited here to help the U.S. during the 60s. And there were over about 5 million that eventually came and worked, but, they recruited workers to help who? The U.S., just the way they love to attack the immigrants, and yet they don't want to fix the immigration system. They want it that way. Just imagine if they had a fixed immigration system where you pay workers what they deserve, you give them health care. They don't want that. And it's easier to exploit workers who don't have those rights. That's it.
You used an extremely important word, that word fascism. Say why you are referring to the Trump regime as a fascist regime.
I think because it's consolidating power under the executive. You know, it's not respecting the checks and balances of our government, and I think that's a telltale sign of a fascist regime.
What history are you referencing that you don't want to see again?
Genocide, concentration camps, oppression, and just like hurting our people, you know? Yeah.
And do you feel that with Trump in office, those things are real threats today?
Yes, because there's all these news saying that it doesn't matter if you were born here or not, that they can just say that they can just deport you now. And so before, we were here to support the people that couldn't come represent themselves, but now it's a danger to speak up for anything.
What's your message to people who are afraid right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's not anything new, right? Like, I think back in the early 2000s, there was a narrative about like hiding in the shadows, right? Making yourself, and I think it makes sense. Sometimes you feel like you need to make yourself small to be protected, right? But you know, as we can see now, their plan is to deport everybody. They're coming after everyone, undocumented immigrants, but also people who are, you know, born here, right? You are birthright citizenship. So I think this, like I said in the beginning, this isn't the time to hide. This is the time to fight back and to be loud and to be out here to show that you know, they're not going to scare us into the shadows again. That's never going to happen.
Anything else you want to say on May Day to the world?
Well, so people, so don't be scared. So we have power. We have to fight against the politics, and we're the power. Yeah.
Spread love. They want to separate us. They want us to be against each other. And so if we can look at it from the bigger picture, if we all unite, we can make a difference.
I'm going to keep coming out here and protesting every chance I get until we get rid of this fascist regime.